Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual class of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic, and because of that we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean we are going to stop learning. So we are going to do many lessons which are very interesting from your textbook through the virtual class here. So let us do a lesson in English today. Come on children, let's start the next lesson in standard 9th. Subject is English and the name of the lesson is lesson number 4.4 in your English textbooks, and the name of the lesson is My Financial Career. Now I want you to all open your English textbooks and come to page number 100. So you have this lesson on page number 100. Now as you can see on the screen, along with the name of the standard, the name of the subject and the name of the lesson, you have some other images too. What do these images talk about? They talk about money. Okay, you can see the rupaya symbol over there. So when we talk about financial, it means something which has got to do with money. Okay, now in this particular lesson children, we will see a story which is a little humorous, but at the same time there is some kind of truth also in the story, which is a sad truth, but it is a truth nevertheless. So in this particular story we are going to talk about money and many things which are related to money. So when I talk about money, when I say money, what are the different things that come to our mind? We think about earning money, okay, making money. People work day and night in order to earn money, and then most of the money that they have earned, out of which some of the money they save. So when we talk about money, we think about earning money, we think about saving money, okay, and most importantly we think about spending this money. So most of us, or you are not at the age where you're earning now, but your parents, if you see, or if you see your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts, most of us, they earn money and then they use the money to spend it on so many different things. They buy a house for themselves, they buy a grocery, they buy clothes, they buy watches, etc. And then they also save some of the money in case they're going to need it for future. Now when we talk about saving money, there is one more thing which comes to our mind, and that is a bank. Okay, now this entire story of My Financial Career is set in the bank. So the bank is the setting, or the bank is the background for this story. Now before we go and see the story, we will always look at certain warming up exercises. So there is an exercise about how to open an account in the bank and how will you fill in your details. So before that, let us talk about a bank. So what is a bank? Now most of you might have gone to the bank. You might have accompanied your parents while they go to the bank, okay? And when you go to a bank, you tend to observe what is there around you. When you go into any place, the most important thing that you should do is, children, you should try and observe what are the things which are happening around you. Okay, so when you go to a bank, you will see that there are so many counters like this. Okay, now in the COVID situation, of course, I will not advise you to go and visit a bank now, because we are not supposed to leave our houses unless it is extremely important. So we will wait for a later date. When the pandemic passes, we will try and visit a bank and see what all is happening there. But see, this is an image from a bank now. So there is not too many people are not there, because now they are limiting the number of people who are entering the banks. You will see the people standing in a systematic manner. There are different counters. Okay, people are standing in a queue. Now, what are these people doing in the bank? You will see that the bank also offers you a variety of services. See here, you can see inside the bank a lady is sitting and relaxing. So they have given her a place to sit till her number has come up. And then you will see certain employees in the bank helping people to do their work.
And there are also some automated teller machines, that is the ATM machines from where you can withdraw money. So the bank gives you so many different facilities. So let us take a closer look at the bank. So what do banks do exactly? The banks, they look after your money. So if you happen to deposit your money in the bank will take care of your money. And the bank will also see to it that your money grows. Now, is money a plant or an animal that it grows? Then how does the bank make your money grow? We will see it very shortly, okay? So the first thing that a bank does is it looks after your money and it also makes your money grow. Then the bank provides loans to you. That is in case you want to build a house. It is going to take lakhs and lakhs of rupees, and most of us, we do not have so many lakhs of rupees, okay? Even if we save, so we need to take loans. So the bank will provide you loans in exchange for some interest. And finally, the bank will also help you to pay for things. So now you know that most of the payments that we make is through the mobile. You must not be knowing it, your parents might be knowing it, okay? They make use of Google Pay, they make use of Payphone, and then they transfer the money. So there is no need for you to go to the bank also. If you have the app of the bank on your phone, then you can pay also for things using your bank account. Alright, so these are all the things that the bank does for you. Now I told you, the bank makes your money grow. How does that happen? Let us see what the bank does exactly in order to make your money grow. So how do these banks work? So I told you, when you keep your money, when you deposit your money into the account that you have, okay, so you need to have an account with the bank. So we will see that also. So first let us see how the bank works. So you have some amount of money which you are taking and you are giving it to the bank. What does the bank do? The bank lends that money to businesses and other people. Okay, someone wants a loan, so the bank will give your money as a loan to that other person. Then you will say, Arey, how can the bank do that? How can the bank give my money away? But remember, when the other person pays interest to the bank, a part of that interest the bank will share with you, and some part the bank will keep for itself. So that is how your money grows, because you have the money there, plus they keep on giving you the interest, so your money grows. Okay, so this is basically how banks work. So in the earlier days, the banks used to do just these things. It is now that when the banks have gone online, that they are providing us with various other facilities also. So what was the basic business of banks? To keep your money safe, to give you loans, okay, and to make your money grow. So this is how banks work. Now, if you want to take benefit of all this, that is, if you want to make your money grow, then you should have an account in the bank. Just I told you, that you should have an account with this particular bank, with any bank. So you can have a savings account, you can say another different types of accounts. All right, some people have, business people, they have a different kind of account, and people who earn salaries, we have a different kind of account. So you can have savings account, you can have current account, etc. So what will you do if you want to open an account? Nothing. You will have to simply go to the bank and you will have to give them your proof of ID, that is your identification proof. So you can give them a copy of your Aadhaar card, a PAN card, your passport, whatever identification you have, the bank will ask for it, and then the bank will make you fill certain forms. So now this is the form that we are going to look at from the warming up part of our lesson. So when you open a savings bank account, you need to fill a deposit form or slip. Now let us take a look at the slip, and then you can try to fill this slip up in your textbooks using a pencil. Okay, so now see this, you can see on the screen. So now what all things will you write here? What all can you see here? So you can see the date column, you can see the branch column. So now there are banks, the name of the bank will already be there on the form. So you have to write which branch. Okay, just like a tree has got branches, a bank also has got branches. Branch means a outlet of the bank is called as a branch. Then you have to write your name there. Then you have to write your account number. Now when you give the Aadhaar card, when you give your PAN card, the bank will open up an account for you. And once you have the account open, then if you want to remove money, if you want to deposit money, then you will use this kind of a slip. Okay, so now this is the front part of the slip, the face part of the slip. So this is for, see, depositing money. Someone wants to deposit money, then they will use this kind of a slip. Alright, now if you turn the page or if you turn the slip over, you will see that the bank has asked you to enter your contact details. That is, if there is something wrong with the money that you have deposited. Nowadays we have counterfeit notes also, you have nakli notes also. So in case there is any kind of problem with a note that you have deposited, then the bank needs to contact you. Okay, so then the bank will ask for your contact details. So what will you write when you're filling in your contact details? They've asked for your address, they've asked for your telephone number, that is if you have a telephone number at your place of work, or you can give them your mobile number. And also nowadays it is very, very important for all of us to create an email address also. Along with your home address, the email address that we have is also extremely important today. So children, once you go to a bank, then you get used to the working of the bank, and then you do not feel scared at all of going to a bank. Okay, so the first few times that you go to a bank, you might feel a little confused. You might wonder what you're supposed to do. But then as you keep going to the bank again and again, you become used to the process over there. Now in this story that we are going to do today, we have a person who's gone to the bank for the first time. Okay, and then there is a lot of confusion created, and he doesn't know how the bank works, and then finally he decides that he never wants to go to a bank again, which is a wrong thing. So your first experience about something may not be pleasant, but that doesn't mean that is not good for you. So it is a very, very good thing for all of us to have a bank account, okay, to deposit whatever extra money we have into the bank, because it will inculcate the habit of savings in us. It is very important for us to earn as well as to spend, but it is more important for us to save. Okay, so that we will see when we come to the story about why he got confused and why he got discouraged. We will go to one more exercise now from your warming up part, where we will do a web, you can say word web, or a web design for a banking. So what will we write if we are doing a word web? Now this is a word web. So you have created a kind of a web using words. Okay, so you have to write 12 words related to banking here. So I will be giving you 6 words. The other 6 words you can think and come up with. Alright, pick up a newspaper and read an article about a bank. Alright, open Google and find out about banks, search for banks and find out what banks are, and pick out words from there. So let me give you 6 words here. So the first word that I would write for bank is, of course, money. Okay, so money is the most important word according to me related to a bank. Then you can also write cash. So money may be in the form of cash, it may be in the form of a check. Okay, so I write cash here, and then I write loan. So a loan is also a very, very important word related to a bank. So here I write loan. Then profit. So when my bank invests my money, it earns profit. When my bank gives my money to other people as loan, it earns profit from them. Okay, so profit. Then you have interest. When you keep your money in your bank, the bank gives you interest. And when you take a loan from the bank charges interest. Okay, then you have branch. I told you, what is a branch? The outlet of a bank is called as a branch. We have outlets for McDonald's, we have outlets for other food chains. Same way, we have a branch for a bank. Now the remaining 6, I would want you to find out. 6 words related to banking. Okay, it could be any 6 words of your choice, or you can search for it on the net. Alright, so this were the exercises in the warming up part of the lesson. Now let us go to the lesson and let us try and understand the story which is written by this famous person. Okay, now he is a person who has written a book actually. His name is Stephen Leacock. He's written a book, and this particular you can say essay, or this particular short story or anecdote is a part of that book. So now let us talk a little bit more about Stephen Leacock. So this is the person who is a author of this particular piece of work. He was born on December 30th, 1869, and in England. He was educated in Canada and in the US, and he died at the age of 75 in a place called Ontario in Canada. What work did he used to do? He was a humorist. Humorist means someone who makes people laugh through his writings or his work. He also used to write essays. He was a person who was a doctorate in economics also. He was a professor of economics. Alright? And he used to teach political science. And he was very famous for writing humorous fiction. Fiction means something which is not true, something which is an imagination, but it is humorous. And he was also known as the Canadian Mark Twain. Now, Mark Twain is a very famous author, but he was called as the Mark Twain of Canada. Now, this particular work, if you see, My Financial Career, it is one of Leacock's earliest pieces. It appeared in his first published humorous book, Literary Lapses. So Stephen Leacock has written a book called Literary Lapses, which was his first published book. And you can see here an image of the front page of the book, Literary Lapses by Stephen Leacock. So this particular story is extracted from this particular book called Literary Lapses. Okay, now in short, I will try and explain the story of My Financial Career to you. I will try and use pictures, but at the same time, I want you to keep your textbook open so you can keep referring to your textbooks also. So it is a humorously presented experience of a person in the bank for the first time. Like I told you, you go anywhere for the first time, you will be a little bit, you can say, nervous. Okay, because you do not know how that place works. So My Financial Career humorously presents a person's first experience in the bank. The main theme of the story focuses on the tension and stupid actions which happen in the bank. So this person does some very stupid things in the bank. There is much fun and laughter when the narrator makes a clown of himself through his words and behavior. So he makes fun of his own self through his words and his behavior. So it is a way, the kind of experience that you have when you go to any place, not a bank, you go to any place for the first time and you do not know people over there and you do not know the setting of that place. Alright? So let us try to understand what all happens with this person. So now Leacock, he receives a rise in his salary. Alright? So his salary goes to around $50 a month, which is not a very big amount. Now he has $56 with him, and now he wants to become a wise citizen, and he wants to bank his dollars. Now, bank his dollars means he wants to deposit this money in the bank, because, like I'm telling you, that it is very good to open a account in the bank. It is very good to get into the habit of saving. His teacher or his elders also might have told him that. So now he decides that since he has got a rise in his salary and he's got $56 with him, so he's going to go to a bank and he is going to deposit the money in the bank. So he's a little timid because he doesn't know anything about a bank. So somehow he goes into the bank and he asks a clerk if he can see the manager alone. Now remember, children, the bank, when you go, there are many people, there are accountants, there are clerks who will help you. There is no need for you to go and talk to the manager of the bank. You need to talk to the manager of a bank if it is something very serious or you have a huge amount of money to be deposited, because these people have more responsibility and they are working with more important things. So for a small minor thing, there is no need for you to go and trouble the manager. But as I told you, our author, he did not have any idea of how to conduct himself in the bank. So he asks a clerk if I can see the manager, and that also alone. He wants to see the manager alone, okay? And in his hand, he had the $56 held in a ball. That means he did not even have it neatly placed in a pocket, but he had a crumpled ball in his pocket, the $56 that he had. Now the manager thinks that the narrator is a millionaire, because see, he has come separately and he wants to talk to the manager separately, he said. So the manager tends to think that it must be very important business and he's going to get a very big account to manage. And he starts thinking that the narrator is a millionaire of sorts. First he wonders whether he is a detective, because he must have come to find out some secret about the bank. But then when he says, when Leacock says that he's not a detective, then he thinks that he's a millionaire. That is when the truth comes out and the narrator reveals that he has planned to deposit $50 a month in the bank. Now that is not a very big, I can say, amount, okay? Even in those times, it was not a very huge amount. That is, you should go and see the manager for that. Now before the narrator tells the manager that he wants to put in $50, the manager thinks that he is a millionaire because he is not a detective. Okay, as soon as these words fall from Leacock's mouth that he wants to deposit $50 a month in the bank, the manager becomes very impatient and he directs him to a clerk. So in a way, he calls out to the accountant and he says, "Mr. Montgomery," and he says this in a very loud and very rude voice. "This gentleman is opening an account. He will deposit $56. And then he says, "Good morning." That means you can go from here. So see, it is a kind of an insult, isn't it? He could have also told him very nicely, very gently that, "See, Mr. Leacock, your amount is quite less, so there is no need for me to get interfere in this matter. You can talk to the accountant or you can talk to the clerk." He could have told him this in a very, very humble manner also. But then the manager is a rude person. Okay, now he gets up and he opens the door for, he tells him, Leacock, he tells Leacock in a way, when he says "good morning," it means you can go now. In tension, the narrator enters an iron safe and he mistakes it for the door. Now he gets very tense, okay? And by mistake, instead of going out through the door, he gets into a safe. Now the safe, every bank has got a safe where they keep huge amounts of money, they keep jewelry, etc., which people have kept. And the manager gets more angry and the manager orders him to come out of the safe. He asks him in a way, he says, "Come out," and he tells him to go out and meet the accountant. Somehow, this person Leacock, he goes to the accountant and he gives him the money, all right, and the accountant asks him to fill up certain forms. So he asks him to write the money amount in a slip and sign his name, and he gives the slip as well as the money to the accountant, and he deposits $56 in the bank. Now, as soon as he deposits the $56, suddenly Leacock doesn't know what to believe and how to behave. He wants to withdraw $6 now. So he wants to withdraw $6 for his use. So he should not have deposited the entire $56 if he wanted $6, isn't it? He could have kept the $6 and he could have deposited the $50. But then what he does is, now he wants to remove money. He takes a check and he writes 56 instead of 6. So see, the clerk really asks him, are you drawing it all out again? Because you just deposited $56, you opened an account, and now immediately you want to draw all of it again. Now our Leacock realizes that he has made a mistake, and there are people also looking at him, and he's getting uncomfortable now. So he says, yes, I want to withdraw the whole thing, every cent of it. And then the clerk says, are you not going to deposit any more? He said, no, never. I will never deposit any money in your bank. So to hide his foolish mistake, the narrator pretends that somebody has insulted him in the bank and he has decided to take away all his money back. So this is a pretense. This is a kind of act. When you do something wrong, you want others to feel that no, I have not done anything wrong. That is the way people tend to behave. So in the same way, Leacock is also an ordinary human being like you and me. So he also wants to shift the blame to someone else. So he pretends that somebody in the bank has insulted him. So that is why he's taking all his money away and not doing it by mistake. There is so much of fun and laughter when the narrator makes a clown of himself through his words and behavior. Everybody around starts laughing. Finally, he withdraws the amount he has deposited and leaves the bank in a hurry as the bank echoes the roaring laughter of the clerks. So all the clerks as well as the public present there, all of them start laughing and enjoying the misfortune of poor Mr. Stephen Leacock. So imagine this has happened with him. He has been to a place for a first time and people have laughed at him. People have mocked him, made fun of him. What do you think? Will he want to ever go back to that place? But you should try to muster up courage and go back, okay, if it is good for you. So Leacock's career or journey in finances and banking ends with him willing to care for his own money rather than trusting it to people or to finding a bank. So what did he promise himself? He promised that he will keep his money, that is his cash money, in his trouser pocket and his silver dollars in a sock, but he will never come to a bank. Do you think this is a right decision? Of course, the author must have got insulted the first time he went to the bank. The people there were not very gracious. But remember, if you keep your money in your trouser pocket, somebody might steal it. If you keep your dollars in a silver coins in a sock, it might get lost and the money will also not grow. I told you, in the bank your money grows. Okay? So this is a wrong decision. It is not a wise decision on the author's part. But it is his decision nevertheless, and it is a fiction, it is a story, so that is how the story ends. But remember, it indicates to us, the readers, how bankers then, and even now if you see, the bankers are concerned only with the rich people who come to the bank with their money. They are not at all concerned with the middle class or the struggling poor people. So if you have lakhs and lakhs of rupees and if you go to a bank, you will get a lot of respect there. But if you're an ordinary person, if you're a middle class person, if you're from a poor background, you do not have too much money, but even then when you go to a bank, you want to put in this good habit. Not only in those times when Leacock was living, but even in today's times, you will see that people will not have too much of a value for you. They will not give you too much of heed. They will not pay too much heed to you. So children, in this first video that we have done about the lesson My Financial Career, we have seen certain warming up exercises in this lesson, as well as we saw the entire story of My Financial Career, that is a kind of a fiction, a humorous fiction, which is written by Stephen Leacock, which teaches us many different things. The first thing is, never get deterred or never get discouraged if you have one bad experience with something. It is not necessary that you may always have a bad experience. Okay, so when you go to a bank and you have a bad experience, do not ever come to the decision that I will never go to a bank again, because banking, saving money is a good habit. All right, and we also saw how we should learn. When we don't know things, we should learn things so that we become more aware and we become better citizens. So when we meet next time, children, we will do the remaining part of this lesson, where there are some exercises in vocabulary and some exercises in grammar. But this is all for today. Thank you so much.
So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.